Bright Duty. Every student matters.
The first question says, what is the theme of the Canterville Ghost? So the Canterville Ghost basically talks about an American family in a British setting. There were a lot of mishappenings that took place inside the house when they came to live there. Then the characters have been portrayed in very comical manner. We can see that there's a lot of comic element that has been added. There's a lot of American and British contrast that has been showcased in this story. Sir Simon, wanted to scare the family but was instead scared by them. He misunderstood the Otis family, and although this is a very humorous tale, but it happened to have conveyed a message at the end that was conveyed by Virginia, that love was stronger than both life and death. Who was the main character, the protagonist of the Canterville Ghost? So the main character of the Canterville Ghost was undoubtedly Sir Simon. Sir Simon was the protagonist because it was his castle. He lived there. He belonged to that particular place. He had been living there for the past 300 years. He continued to scare whosoever came to live, and at the end we saw how it was for his redemption that he requested Virginia to weep for him and to pray for his forgiveness. So we have seen all the changes in the characters of Sir Simon, and therefore he was the main character. Who purchased the Canterville Chase and from whom, and what was the information that he got? So Mr. Otis purchased Canterville Chase from Lord Canterville. Mr. Otis was an American minister, and he was warned by Lord Canterville that the place was haunted by ghosts. He had told everything to the Otis family, but despite that, he disregarded all the information and decided to live in the house. Mr. Otis had a different perception altogether to the presence of the ghost, and he handled everything in a very practical manner. He was a materialistic person but was down to earth at the same time, and therefore despite being warned about the presence of a ghost, he moved in with his family. Narrate the experiences of the Otis family at the time of entering the Canterville Chase. So the moment the family was about to enter the Canterville Chase, we read that the clouds, there was an overcast of clouds, there was a gloomy thunderstorm. They were very curious to know what was happening because the entire scene was very horrifying. Then they could see a flight of roots, the birds flying over their head. It started to rain. Mrs. Umne welcomes them. The weather changed. It became frightening. It was terrible. Then they saw the blood stain, and when they cleaned it again, they could hear the storm outside. So all this indicated the presence of the supernatural element as the Canterville Chase. Describe the first face-to-face interaction of Mr. Otis and the ghost. So we have read that it was a very funny, humorous interaction indeed. The ghost decided to scare the family, and it came down the stairs. The heavy metal sound of the chains the ghost was entangled with made Mr. Otis wake up. Rather than getting scared, Mr. Otis gave the ghost the Tamnail Rising Sun lubricator so that he would oil his chains and that he would not disturb the family with his sounds. The Canterville Ghost was very, he felt disrespected and disregarded and could not manage to scare. The family could sleep very peacefully even though there was a ghost present in the house. What was the second appearance of the ghost before the family? Now, we read that after the first appearance, when the family was not scared of the ghost decided to appear on Sunday night. They were alarmed by a terrible crash that they could hear from the hall. They came downstairs and they saw that there was a large old armor that had detached itself from the stand and had fallen down on the floor. The Canterville ghost was sitting there and he was rubbing his knees because of the pain that he could feel. The twins fired at the Canterville ghost with his toy guns and they started laughing. The ghost was so scared that he ran away in no time. He then also decided to try one last time, and the moment he reached on the top of the stairs, he gave a maniacal laughter, hoping to scare them. But to that also Mrs. Otis reacted by offering him a medicine so that the indigestion in his stomach could be treated. Describe the Garden of Death. So the Garden of Death was the place where the dead, they enjoy a good and a peaceful sleep. The grass was growing, there was lushing green grass, and there were white stars of the hemlock flower. The nightingale could sing all night long. The moon was crystal clear, and the trees spread out their arms in a giant manner. The graveyard was a very beautiful. He wanted to sleep under the ground, Sir Simon. The graveyard had grass, it had bushes, it had scrub. There was silence of the graveyard, which gave peace to the people who lived there, who were buried there. So nature basically had offered a beautiful place to all the dead people who found solace after that. What did Virginia tell about the ghost after she returned from to the Canterville chase? So Virginia came along with a casket of jewel. She had disappeared with the ghost and she returned with a casket, as I told you. She told her father that now the ghost was at peace. He was dead finally and he would not be able to see him. She told them about what was, the fate of Sir Simon before he died, that how his brothers-in-law had ill-treated him and he was starved to death. Virginia had a very strong impression on her mind and she learned a lesson that love was stronger than both life and death. She also tried to convince her family members that the ghost felt sorry for having killed his. So with this, my dear students, we come to the end of this story, The Canterville Ghost, written by Oscar Wilde. We've discussed the summary of the entire story at length, discussed the themes as well as the character sketches. I hope the story was clear to you.